guys, welcome back to part 2 of our cleanup series. We'll be putting on our earbuds. I'm going to finish up cutting up the wood for our corner piece and getting everything cleaned up here so that we can put up our cabinets and finish up this work we got going on.
Alright, so if you haven't seen our first episode, we cleaned up the garage and built this beautiful table. As you can see, I'm putting it in the back there. And now we're going to go and finish our corner cabinet area. So I've never built a corner cabinet piece before, and I don't really know much about woodworking in general, so I'm just kind of winging it here. I just started off by putting four legs. The two in the front, they're just at an angle to the angle of the board, and the two legs in the back are flat towards the base of the trapezoid. Now, I did measurements based off of having the top part of the trapezoid, the part where it's going to face us, with it being 12 inches, and the sides have to be, I believe it was 24 inches on each side. So, doing some math, it was around 43 inches for the base of the trapezoid. And so that's how I measured out all of that. Unfortunately, I forgot to take video footage of the actual construction of it, but essentially I have two pieces of board supporting the sides on the top. They go from inside, and then they're cut at an angle towards the back legs. And on the bottom, there's one board going across, cut at an angle. Two boards on the side, cut at an angle, screwed into that, and one board bracing the back. Now, what I did record, fortunately, was the actual construction of the back part. This is most important because you want to be able to have the cabinet be very stable, since you usually put cabinets on the wall, but we're putting it on a piece of wood this time. And I'm using these star screws as opposed to the regular Phillips screws. You want to use the star screws because they're much easier to screw in to the wood, and they don't strip as easily and things like that, so it's a lot more stable. So I'm just measuring out exactly where the two pieces of backing wood are going to be, and it's going to line up directly with the holes that come out of the cabinet already. So just measuring it out, screwing them in, making sure that I put the wood in this position, I guess against the grain, so that way the board is not moving or wobbly at that length. I believe it's around it's probably around 35-40 inches. So with the two backing boards placed up, just a matter of cutting the plywood to shape, and now all we do is add the cabinet. So you may want to get a friend for this. I'm doing it without a friend because nobody was around that day, but make sure that if you're not installing the cabinet first onto the plywood, that you have some way to keep it leveled on top. I'm just using a bunch of toolboxes and wood to stack it up. So watch me struggle temporarily as I get it lined up. And for the final step, we just make sure that the cabinet's lined up to the support boards in the back, and we just screw it in.
Alright, so we finished our cabinet area. If you notice, it's not exactly super sturdy. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, we had to cut off about 1 inch on one of the legs because the way that this garage is built, there's just an inch of space that's unleveled there. And there's a piece of wood connecting the support beam, so in order to stuff this in neatly, that needed to be cut. And these are just two pieces of plywood holding this up, so it's not exactly the most sturdy thing. Ideally, when you build your garage up and you have cabinets up, they'll be up on the wall. So the wall is not going to move, hopefully. But since this is a corner piece and we built it out of wood, it's going to have a little bit of wobble. So before I go and fix that, we're going to do the perforated cardboard on the main workbench. Then we can see how much space we have left on this side. And what I'll probably end up doing is putting a piece of wood on this side, gluing it to the plywood, and then clamping it down on the top. So a U-shape kind of thing. So here's your plywood, here's the brace, here's the plywood that's right here already, and then the other piece of wood on the back, which is holding the plywood together. So we'll put a clamp that goes around all three through the top. So it'll be glued in, clamped in, and that should prevent this from being unstable. It's not going to bother me too much if I leave it this way, so I figured I'd just explain that to you guys. Mainly this is just going to be used for storage, so I'm not going to be pounding on this table at all. The table will be connected to the main table, so I won't have to worry about the bottom moving so much. I just don't want this to get weaker over time. So let's work on the perforated cardboard and get this wrapped up and squared away. Then we can work on the other table for the two bikes, storage, and second workspace.
So to get up the perforated cardboard, it's really as simple as adding 3 backing support beams. So here's the first one, and the second one, and the third. So with that out of the way, we can just add our perforated cardboard straight to the top. I believe I made this also around 40 inches tall, just for your own references. I had to make this 7 feet wide instead of the full length of the table, simply because the garage pulley system was in the way, and I didn't want to have to work around that. So just cut that off the side, measured it out, and made sure that the top wasn't going to hit the fiberglass insulation. With the perforated cardboard all set up, we can see that there's a bunch of different possibilities for setting up this area. We could put a shelving unit on top. I'm only about 6 feet, so there is enough space to put a shelf above me. We could also install a light that goes directly down onto the table. Just all sorts of space. We can even make use of the cutout area on the side and put more shelves or cabinets or things like that. So just to give you an idea of things that you can do for your own table build, workbench build. If you have any cool ideas, feel free to leave it in the comment section, because I would love to hear about it as well. And there we have it. The table's more or less completed. The perforated cardboard / pegboard is installed and ready for all the tools that we're going to put on it.
Alright guys, that'll wrap up today's episode. We accomplished so much today. We got the perforated cardboard up and the corner table done with the cabinet all installed and ready to go. Pretty exhausted. It's been a couple of days working after hours to get this done, but we're almost finished. We got one more table to make, and we have all the stuff to clean up. So in the next episode, we'll get through all those things, and looking forward to the rest of the season because there's so many things that we have to go through, so it's going to be super awesome. So see you guys next time.